Hey YouTube, Shashank here. We're gonna do another episode of some basic home repair, quick home repair. What happens when your basement starts to flood because the drain in your storage room starts to overflow? So let's take a look. So here I have a drain, and as you can see, this drain drains the humidifiers. It also has the overflows for the drip pans or the overflow pans for the hot water heaters. So a couple days ago, I had this drain overflowing. Now these pipes or these tubes here go to just humidifiers, and so it drains in there. But what's important was it was coming out and it was kind of black, basically crappy water, and you can see the water, was all over here. So this is what happens, is that this is your ejector pump here. And so whenever you're below ground level, all of your basement toilet, your basement shower, or your basement sinks, they flow into this common ejector pump here. And then from there, a pump actually shoots it up, this pump, and then takes it to ground level, and then takes it into the main sewer system. So everything below the ground collects in here. Now that's whether that's water or actually toilet water or sewage or sink faucet water, it doesn't really matter. So what happened is that there's a pump inside here. Now you don't want to take this off because it's going to smell like crap. It's going to smell like sewage. But what happens is that this drain actually connects into the ejector pump. So what was happening was my ejector pump was actually not pumping very well, and therefore the water was actually filling up, or the sewage was actually filling up in that tank, and then it would overflow and come out here and then make a mess. So what happens? First thing you have to see is whether your pump is actually working or not, or whether there's the switch mechanism. So now think about it this way. Inside the ejector pump, the water will level, or the sewage level will begin to rise. When it rises to a certain level, it hits a switch. The switch turns the motor on, and the motor shoots everything up, or the pump motor shoots everything up into the main sewage line. So if the switch doesn't turn on, then the pump may not turn on. And sometimes you have to figure out why that is. So now what we'll do is we're going to follow the electrical. Now here what you can see electrical is that this is actually, this main wire here is the pump itself. And then this is the switch. So what you could do is you unplug this and unplug this from this. So you're unplugging the switch plug from the main pump plug. Then you're going to pump the plug directly into the outlet. If the plug from the pump goes into the outlet, and then in a few seconds later you're going to hear the actual pump go off. So I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to unplug it, and now I'm going to plug it back in, and I'm going to plug it back in, and you should hear something. So now you can hear the pump is actually on and pumping up all the sewage. Now I'm going to plug it out. Now that means the pump works. Now when I plug it back into the switch, now obviously the water level has already gone down, and I'm going to plug it back into the switch. So what happens? Sometimes you just have to do that cycling 1 or 2 times because there's toilet paper or there's an air pocket inside the bottom of the pump. And there's pump and that air. So actually when the pump spins and tries to suck something up, it doesn't suck anything up, or it's clogged. So if you use a lot of toilet paper, that toilet paper might get stuck inside there, and then you just kind of have to let it sit and force the pump to go up. Now, what you cannot do is leave this constantly plugged into the outlet bypassing the switch. If you do that, your pump is constantly going to run, and then you're going to blow the motor. You're going to blow the pump motor itself, and then you have another expensive repair. So try that a couple of times, see whether that clears, and then go back to your basement toilet or your basement shower or your basement sink, let it run, and then see whether it's filling up, and then whether you can hear the pump as the water level rises. You should hear the pump turn on, and you're going to hear all of the sewage and water eject out of here. If that doesn't work and nothing works here, then you have to call a plumber, because this is not the kind of thing that you want to do it yourself, because either the switch itself is not working here, or the switch inside the ejector pump is not working, or the pump itself is not working. So again, here's your quick fix. water comes out of the drainage pump. Over here, unplug the switch from the motor to test to see whether the motor and the pump itself is working. Directly plug this in. If you hear and you feel everything moving up, then you know that's working. Try that, let that cycle, drain the water down. You'll see the water start to lower inside the drain. Fill it up again, try to see if that clears, and then maybe that toilet paper or that obstruction has blocked, and everything should be okay. And plug the switch back in. If the switch starts to work again as the water level starts to rise, then you've cleared the obstruction. Okay, thank you very much, YouTube.